Today JavaScript has uh, become the de facto for any building of web applications. So if you are planning to build any new website, or you're planning to develop an application for Android platform, or for be it any matter, you have an idea, you wanted to build an app, then JavaScript is a go-to tool. So how do we brush up our skills, and how do we master? See, assuming you have already know something about JavaScript, and you have already firm understanding of what exactly JavaScript is, then this session is useful to you. Let's move on. So three best platforms out there are Hackerank, Kattis, and Project Euler. So you can check out the links over here, hackerank.com. So there is in Hackerank, these platforms are meant for problem solving. See, there will be some problem statement given, and you have an online editor using which you can submit your code. So this gives you, a way to solve problems. See, your skills, programming skills, you can test in real time. There will be lots of users out there. There will be rankings as well. So it's kind of a game. See, you're playing a game, so you're competing. See, every day you can start with small challenges. The moment you solve it, you will get, some each system has their own rankings, etc. So it will help you in moving ahead and mastering the skills. So which all things to check, and how to master each area? See, today we are going to see HackerRank. See, if you're a beginner, there is a 30 days 30 days code of challenge, so that is a recommended one. Then you can go with lots of other problems which are available in the respective platforms. So let's see how the challenge looks, and how do we use these platforms. See, the moment you log on to hackerrank.com, so you'll on the home page, so you can check out hackerrank.com. So on your dashboard, you'll find problem solving basic. So you can check basic problem solving, and then you can check out various language as well. So if you are already familiar with to some extent, you can straight away go and try it out some new problems as well. So if you're a beginner, just start with 30 days of code challenge. So now I'm going to show you how exactly this looks like. So if you click on this, it will take you to a sequence of steps. See, like small problems at day 1, day 2, day 3. So each problem will be unlocked the moment you the day crosses. So if you started 10 days back, then you will have 10 unlocked. So each day you can pick up one problem and you can try to solve it. So by that day 30, you'll have some firm basic problem solving ability of JavaScript. So this is a starting point for any beginner. So let's see how exactly these platforms work, and how do we use these platforms. So now I'm going to take introduction to conditional statements. So here it's all about if conditions, and how do we use all the functions which are basic functions, etc. So they in these platforms have some see they'll give a problem, and it will have some input format, and there'll be an output format. So they have an auto generator. The moment you submit the code, it will automatically system will evaluate, and it will say whether this is correct or wrong. So it's not just it will check for n number of input samples. So if the sample input is 3, it expects an output of this particular output. So they'll have a number of outputs and etc. So they'll give an explanation as well how this scenario exactly has to be built. And then you'll have a code editor where you can solve on any programming language. See, as we are talking about JavaScript now, we are picking up JavaScript Node.js. So you can select that environment. There will be a standard snippet available which shows how to read the content, basic content. So you have to start writing your logic, and two, you have to submit the code. So let's see how we'll going to do this particular area. See, here the problem statement is there will be an integer n, and we have to print whether it is an odd or even, and they have given a case as well. So only if n is odd, then we'll print weird. If it is even and it is not in the range of 2 to 5, we'll print it as not weird. And if it is greater than 20, not weird. It is 6 to 20, we'll print it as weird. Basically what they're saying is, if it is even or odd, we need to find out. So let's jump and try it out. And Here the sample input, if input is 3 as it is an odd, we have to print it as weird. And if it is 24, we have to print it as not weird. And there is only an exception case where if it is 6 to 20, we have to print it as weird. Else, rest of the cases it's not weird. So it basically even or odd condition. So we are just, I have already for the case of simplicity, I'm just entered a few snippet. So this is all the standard code which editor will provide you, where the way how we can access input. See here the objective is there will be series of inputs. They can enter around 20-30 inputs. For all the 20 parallelly we have to print the output. So that is how these code editors work. So if they give 3, 5, 10, 11, 20, then all the 5 inputs, each output for corresponding to those inputs, we have to print in sequence. You're going to understand in a moment. So till here, this is a basic syntax which would be provided. So if you see here, so stdin is like for all the input, what are input current line is 0. So in the output current line, if whereas 0 starts with 0, all the input strings will be taken. So in this case, this till here the standard code would be generated. So here in this function, main function, I'm going to write the logic. So here I have written the logic here right now. So condition we need to check is if it is even. If that is, if the remainder is 0, if we are dividing by 2, we know that it is if it is 0, then it is an even. Else it is odd number. So what I condition have we are taken is if modulus is 0, we are saying is not weird, and else it is an odd number. So we are picking it as weird and not weird. There was one exception where they mentioned that if it is even and the number falls between 6 and 20, then we have to print weird. This was just, they'll try always all the problem statement, they'll try to confuse us by putting too many conditions. But we need to understand what the basic thing they are talking about. So in this case, all we need is, this is a simple logic which is essential for testing out. So let's see how do we, so now we select run code, and the system, see now it says that the sample, it has work. We can try it out any test with against a custom input as well. So I'm going to try it out some, as we have 6 to 7, right? Let's try it out with now in this case, if it is 8, it has to, let's check how it works. So not weird. So it worked. So system has evaluated that our code is working. So now this is the time to now submit. The moment you submit the code, it will test for a number of cases. So now if you see here, 2 out of 8 test cases failed. So it says that it is failing in some cases. It is successful in some cases, but it failed in test case 3 and test case 5. So there is somewhere, our code hasn't worked really well. So we need to recheck out the condition, and we need to read the problem statement, and we need to understand what we have missed out. So this way we'll understand, though always we assume that whatever piece of line we have written is exactly correct. So we need to relook at some of the statements. So here if you see, we are missing out some of the statements. So we need to check if it is 2 to 5. So and if it is 6 to 20. So if it is in inclusive range or not, we have to check, and whether it is even or not. So accordingly we have to make corrections to our logic. So we have to test across all scenarios. So similarly, so this is one example of how these things work. There are some other areas as well. So I'll show you how this works in case of other platform called Kattis. So like Hackerank, so here also we have lots of people. See, there will be ranking out here. There will be rank list. See, universities wise the ranking will be available as well. So here on the left side, if you see, these all are the problem statements. So there are like lots of, they are like sorted by alphabetical order, and you'll see the difficulty rating as well. Just like how we have seen right now. This also has two code editors. If you select here, now in this case, I'm selecting this particular problem statement. 0 to 1 sequence is the name of the problem statement. So here they'll give a description of the problem statement, and similarly they'll give the input and the expected output. So we have to understand the logic first, and we have to come up with the solution. So if you see here, you have to click on submit here in this case. And if you are using a local editor, you can use local editor and you can upload the file as well. And here you can select your runtime. In case of Kattis, there are like two platforms, one based on Mozilla's SpiderMonkey and another is Node.js. So you can select Node.js and you can click on switch to editor. So here there will be a live editor where similarly like how we have seen so far. So in this case, for illustration purpose, I'm just showing you how this works. So here I have test. So I have written a piece of line of code and I'm just trying to submit it. So same, it also has you know all automatic evaluator. So the system checks for whether the said input is correct or not, and it shows us now running. The moment it checks for the output, if it's successful, then it shows us it's accepted. Else we have to resubmit it. So now in this case, wrong answer. So the whatever we submitted is incorrect. So we have to upload the code, and here you can select edit and resubmit, and you have to retry the logic. So these are the platforms by which we can have real-time problems, and we can see how many people have solved that particular problem as well. And always in case of hacker as well, you can see editorial section where it will give you the exact answer. Whereas in Kattis, there is no as such answers as such, so you have to practice. And there are like some GitHub repositories where you can find some people who have already solved the scenarios if you're still struggling in solving some of the scenarios. And this can be solved in any language. So initially, to get familiar, you can start with the help section. So in help section, if you click on help section, they'll give you how to exactly use this particular platform, the code editor. So all these platforms have some basic format where series of user inputs will be available, and we have to read from the console. So there will be a static way of accessing it. So if you use this particular readline method will allow you to extract the user inputs. If they're entering the input, we can using readline method, we can. So in this case, number one and number two are captured in A and B variables. So we can use this to print our output. So you can use console.log as a statement to print out the output. So you can use this to output and readline method to extract the input. So these are the two ways by which you can get input, and you have to put your logic and then use console statement to print the logic. So output you use console.log. For input, use a readline statement, right? So this is how the Kattis platform works. There is similar one more platform called Project Euler. So Project Euler is it has been quite popular and old website as well. So if you see here, this also has a similar factor. There are like lots of problems, and each has how many solved people. See, so far 9 lakh people have solved this, but multiples of 3 and 5. So the moment you click on this, it will show you a statement, and you have to enter the answer over here. So if you list all natural numbers below 10 that are multiples of 3 or 5, we get 3, 5, 6, and 9. Sum of these multiples is 23. So find the sum of all multiples of 3 or 5 below 1000. So this is a statement. So you have to solve this particular thing, and then here there is no editor as such. You have to use your own editor. And finally, all it expects is you have to input an answer. And you can once you have solved it, there you can find some answers to the solution as well. So there will be a doc suggesting some of the top contributors which were contribute. They'll suggest you the logic. See, in this case, this is how it has to be algorithm. See, they'll give you the explanation to the problem statement as well. So you can check out this explanation as well. The moment you have solved it, you can check out some other ways how you can actually solve the problem as well. So these are some of the ways by which we can understand problem solving ability. See, these are a couple of problems are already solved. If you see here, so here there is a palindrome number. So it's checking for the product of this. The largest palindrome made from the product of two-digit numbers is 9009. Find the largest palindrome number made from the product of two three-digit numbers. So if you take any take three-digit numbers, so what is the largest palindrome number of three-digit numbers? So that answer we have to type it out, and we have to, now in this case for randomly I'm just checking for answer, and it says wrong. So you have to go back. So unless you solve it, it will not be unlocked. So likewise, we have series of problems. In this case of project Euler, unless you solve this, you cannot move on to the next problem. So it is sequential. Whereas in case of Kattis, you can randomly pick any problem statement and you can check the difficulty rating and you can give it an attempt. Right. So how to use these platforms more effectively? See, here also you can go to any number of problem and you can directly solve. So it's not, but the order of by which you solve, there will be the complexity as well, the difficulty will be increasing. So whereas here you can view the complexity based on users rating as well. So user have rated this as how much out of 10, how much they have rated, you will find out. So each platform has its own benefits. So if you're a beginner, start with 30-day challenge, try to practice using Hackerank. Then within Hackerank as well, you have similar problem statements. And even if you see here on the compete section, you'll have challenges. Here there is a project Euler challenge here as well. Here all the project Euler problem statements are, it is referencing Hackerank, also using project Euler itself to conduct some of the contests out here. So similarly, you'll find in the Kattis platform as well. So the wrap up is, see, pick Hackerank if you're a beginner, start solving problems. You can refer to Kattis or Project Euler. So which are the platform you're comfortable. And one important point I would like to mention is, recently I have checked out, and SAP is using Kattis platform as all for online assessment. So if you have familiar with Kattis platform, it helps you in cracking for SAP India or SAP carries at SAP Labs, etc. So this is one way by which you can brush up your skills. Fine. So I think if you haven't yet subscribed, do check fearux.blogspot.com. So every week we are going to have some interesting topic we'll be discussing to master UFA front, and I'm going to quickly wrap up this with one interesting keynote. See, so why do we learn? Ultimately, we are learning the skills to enhance ourselves in UFA framework. So likewise, I just wanted to put some clear understanding. Where does SAP UFA stand today? See, this is a trends of last 12 months based on users' interest as how many people are typing out which framework they wanted to work, etc. So React.js, AngularJS, Vue.js are popular in the open source world, whereas SAP UFI is very diminished. If you see, it doesn't stand out in the open framework world. But frameworks are nothing but if you have already acquired JavaScript programming skills, then with the help of UFI frameworks, you can start building beautiful and good applications. So UFI is closed source. When I say closed source, it is confined to SAP community. So the number of community developers are very less when compared to open source developer community. So React.js is quite popular as on date, and followed by second AngularJS and then Vue.js. So these three are, each of them are very much popular. So if you see the trends, I mean, these are the last 12 months trends. People are using more Vue.js than compared to Angular or Vue.js. So these three are equally important. And in India, if you see, React.js is keywords are dominating, and so UFI has its own benefits. See, UFI, if you wanted to build exclusive for SAP, then UFI will is meant for building enterprise apps. So it has its own edge. And if you're planning to build for some website, or you wanted to build your own website, or you wanted to be a open source developer, then definitely React.js or AngularJS will be your go-to choice. Understanding each of these frameworks, along with having strong JavaScript skills, helps you in this journey towards your front-end developer. So for building better user experiences, These are the ways by which we can master. So learn skills on these problem skills on Project Euler or Kattis or Hackerank alongside uh, brush up any of the frameworks. So we'll have more interesting session on frameworks in next session. Till then, thank you all. So if you haven't yet checked out, you can check out furyux.blogspot.com. There you'll find all the reference material and all the content related to the session as well. So do check out that. Thank you.